As Jim Carrey once said in The Mask from 1994, let's rock this joint. Hi, welcome to the Video Game Town Hall Podcast, the podcast of videogame.town. It's a website. I made it with my buddies. One of them's here. I'm your host, Jared Russo. I'm the mayor of Video Game Town, and here with me today is the Emperor, Supreme Chancellor. What were some of the things Palpatine had of Video Game Town? That's what you are.
The senator from Naboo of Video Game Town, Grant Brunner.
What were the ETs doing?
They're vibing.
Good for them.
They're touching each other's fingers as the movie E.T. depicted. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, I'm sorry, to give you the full title.
Yes, of course.
Jared, you know that we have a Patreon that people can get even more of this incredible banter. Each month you get an extra episode of this podcast if you give us $5. So in exchange for $5 on Patreon, you get a bonus podcast. And I think that's pretty cool. There are other tiers allow you to interact with us more. For just $3, you can join our Discord. But $5 will get you a bonus podcast. And that's at videogame.town/donate.
The last one was really spicy, but I refuse to get into why, because we have a whole hour's worth of podcast material to do today.
It's true.
I'm going to start with a rant. I'm speaking directly to you, nerds on the internet, Resident Evil fans. Some of you are pretty cool. Some of you are not so cool. Resident Evil fans, I have something to say to you.
Get fucked.
For everyone out there complaining that this new movie is not Resident Evil enough, fuck you. Take a long walk off a short pier. Are you kidding me? You have the gall to sit through 8 Ube Bowl Resident Evils. No, I'm sorry. It's Paul W.S. Anderson. Whatever, it's the same guy.
Those are real dumb. Those are real dumb. They're real dumb, but they're at least dumb in like a fun way where Uwe Boll is a nightmare person.
This guy, Paul W.S. Anderson, not to confuse with Paul Thomas Anderson, puts his wife in all of these movies, and they're the dumbest horseshit imaginable, but they have characters from the games. And you have the nerve, the audacity to be like, but this isn't Resident Evil. Shut up. Shut up. Let the man do his art. He's a true artist, and he's making something cool within the space. Because that's probably the only way fucking people can get shit done nowadays is, I have a crime show for HBO. Sorry, we can't greenlight it. What if I put the Penguin in it? Sold. That's what you got to do now. So this guy had a great script. I've read it. It leaked. And he had some ideas. Not all of them are zombies, by the way. Zombies in the movie, but they're not all zombies. And people are like, where's Leon? And there's my... Shut up. Read a book. Go fuck yourself. Learn how to learn media literacy. Learn, like, just please go back. Oh, reopen the schools. Go back to school.
I just don't understand why people want to see the thing that has already been on a video game, like in a video game. Why do they want to see that in a shittier way in a movie? Like, because
they're stupid. They're babies.
Like, but like, why? To what end? Like, you've already seen it. It's in a video game already. Like, I can understand it from a book perspective.
Like a baby.
Like, I understand it from a book perspective. Like, you see it, and you're like, you read it in text, and like, it's in your mind's eye. And you're like, oh man, if I could see that, that would be so cool. If I could see this thing that I'm imagining. Like, I understand the desire for that. But if it's already in a video game, you've seen it already. They put it on screen. You're probably watching it on the same screen that you're going to watch the movie on, because people don't go to the movie theaters anymore. Like, what are we doing? It's a huge waste of time and money.
Here's the other issue. I think someone on GameScoop brought this up. Might have been Damon Hatfield. The graphics for a liquor in RE9 are going to be better than the CG liquor they make in the movie.
Yeah, because the CG effects in movies have generally stagnated at best and gotten worse in many ways, because that's where you can cut corners. Like,
yep.
If you're like, okay, well, we actually want to get this done faster, or, oh, actually, can we get this done for $10 million less? That's one of the only levers you can pull is, I guess we're going to make the CG shittier. So it's like, at best, you're getting like kind of like the same level of CG you've had for, 10, 15 years. Honestly, you look at some of the really thoughtful CG where it's used sparsely because it was like expensive and hard to do, in the late 90s and early aughts, we were like, wow, that's really tasteful. They were really thought about this. They were really thoughtful about this. And now you get just like the worst slop imaginable. It's like, I don't know, let the robot guys do it.
You got to pay Jack Black his $30 million.
Yeah.
Listen, having sat through the Super Mario Galaxy movie recently, it's whatever. It's a whatever movie. It's not the end of cinema.
No, but who gives a shit, right? Like, it's for little kids, and if you're not a little kid, you're gonna have it's gonna be pretty boring, right?
It was a lot of Easter eggs, and I sat there for 90 minutes being like, oh, that's from that game, and that's from that game.
Oh, that's Dry Bones, you guys.
Yeah, oh, it's Dry Bowser, oh, it's Daisy, oh, it's Game & Watch, oh, it's Star Fox, and it's R-Wing. Like, it was, again, it's whatever. It's fine. It's passable. It's not good, but it wasn't an affront to God. No,
I don't think, well, I mean, I'm sure that people on the internet have bad opinions about stuff, but like, I was just immediately like, I wanted to see, I did not see the first Mario movie in theaters. I saw it when it was rentable. Not rentable for like $30 fucking dollars. Rentable for like $4.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, this is okay, I guess. Like, I'm not mad at it, but it's kind of whatever, who cares?
You can skip Galaxy. You can easily see all the cameos in a 2-minute YouTube compilation. It's like, oh yeah, there's Wart and there's Birdo and there's blah blah blah. But the New York Times critic, I think, was the one who was like, this is the end of cinema. Like, this is worse than AI. It's not that bad. But you know what is that bad? Is the fucking Resident Evil movies before Zach Cregger got on board. So just button this.
I think I've only ever seen the first one on like VHS from a Blockbuster. And I was like, oh, this is dumb popcorn and not really all that Resident Evil. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm checked out of this. And then they went on to make like 100 more of them.
Oh, wait, when did that first one come out? Because that was on VHS. It was that long ago?
I'm pretty sure. Unless I'm missing it with something else.
Oh, I feel like it would have been like DVD era.
Maybe. Is there a Resident Evil
2002?
Film? Maybe. I feel like that's borderline. I guess I probably had DVD by then, but that's still very much
it's borderline.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just remember, the point being, I remember I got it from a Blockbuster, and I was just like, this is a snooze. Like, it's fine, but I wasn't like angry about it, but I wasn't like, man, I can't wait for them to make sequels to this.
Yeah, I remember seeing Doom in the theater. My dad took me. There was a lot of these kind of movies back then. I remember my dad took me to see the second Mortal Kombat twice in theaters. The second time was like a dollar theater because we had like nothing else to do. And like, I want to go see that again because it had all these characters from the games.
Grim.
I didn't know any better.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man came out. I didn't hate it, but I was like, I don't know. And I was talking to my uncle about it. And he was like, "Oh, but who's the woman? Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst. It's like, oh, she's so hot though." And I was like, "Dude, this is 2002. I can look at hot women on the internet. I don't need to go see a movie that I am lukewarm on to see a hot lady. Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, that's not a great. Even now, it's like, oh, but like they didn't get this character right because she doesn't show off enough skin. It's like, you guys can like pull up like literally anything.
Yeah,
on your phone.
Weird Rule 34 bullshit. You can do whatever you want. But like, I don't know. Like, I think that there's a lot of discourse now about like, oh, movies are sexless now, and it's like, no. There's plenty of sex and like romance and sensuality in movies. It's now just not. We're stuffing tits in just any movie out of nowhere. We've stopped doing that because we go like, we have pornography on the internet. We can do this now. We don't need to just throw in boobs to just, here's a movie. Now there's boobs for, 2 minutes. Now back to the movie, which is a thing that happened all the time. Where now when there's sex and sexuality in movies, it's like, to explore the characters. What is the movie about? Is the movie about sex and sexuality? Which I feel is fine. And there are still plenty of movies that do that. But I think it's weird when people are like, oh, we're prudes now. There's not tits in films anymore. And it's like, no, they're just used more strategically.
Oh, if only people understood the power and appeal of Sydney Sweeney, Euphoria, one of the biggest shows on HBO. Oh, but they don't put it in it. Again, these people on the internet, I swear to God.
Fuck these people, these straw men that we're yelling about. This is just we're mad at the internet episode.
Unbelievable. All right, Grant.
Yeah.
I tasked you with a very specific prompt.
Yeah.
What is the most under-discussed and underreported story in gaming history that is actually the most significant?
Okay, so I had a hard time doing these. So I think that like these are leaning more in the under-discussed than like earth-shaking, because I think fundamentally the stuff that's earth-shaking is largely has been discussed. Like, hey, people aren't being paid enough. Oh my God, all these jobs are disappearing. Like, people are talking about that. So I think these are more under-discussed aspects of modern gaming. Is what I am able to deliver. Is this disappointing? Maybe. My first one.
What? Yeah, what's your first one?
HDR kind of sucks. Asterisk, here's what I mean.
Ooh.
It is awesome when it is implemented well in the game and you are playing it on a high-end OLED display. Like, it can look great. It can look incredible. I'm not saying that the concept of high dynamic range is bad. It's not bad. HDR as it exists in the real world kind of sucks shit. In that people are watching it on screens that are like HDR compatible, but are not giving you an actual HDR image. And plenty of games. If you go and read any thread about HDR in a gaming forum, it's going to be a bunch of people being like, oh, this game, all of the settings in the HDR that they shipped with are all fucked up and it's bad. And like, there will be like pristine examples like, oh, they shipped this game looks awesome on my $2,000 screen. This looks awesome. And then I play a different game that doesn't have HDR implemented correctly, and it looks like shit, and it looks better if I turn off HDR. And I think that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that there's not enough discussion. Like, HDR is just like a bullet point now, but the reality is, for the vast majority of people, HDR, and most majority of experiences playing games, HDR sucks, even though HDR can be very, very good.
That's a good one. That's an interesting one. I hadn't thought about that. So the reason I this is the main topic for the episode is I had a very specific thing in mind. And this wasn't a matter of me trying to get you to guess it.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring it forward because I have another smaller one for later. But for me, this is the biggest story in gaming that for some reason like no one talks about other than like people on forums. The NVIDIA leak.
Oh, yeah, they did. I mean, definitely there's lots to talk about it on forums, but I understand what you're getting, is that like there were so many games that got announced through that leak that, yeah, are just like, sometimes like an outlet will report it and be like, oh, as leaked 2 years ago, blah, 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 blah.
All right, so I'll do a quick breakdown. In 2021, NVIDIA GeForce Now, blah, blah, blah. Someone went through some files or something leaked or something got data mined. I don't know exactly what happened specifically, but more than 50 games were sort of like revealed to be within the files of this thing. Yeah. And as of like this week, there are still games that are basically being like, another one for the NVIDIA leak, put it on the board. And it didn't seem like it was like a huge blockbuster thing, because like I didn't see most of these other outlets or YouTubers talking about it. But it was just this sort of thing everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things where relatively early on, like the things that were leaked in that then were among the first to be announced for real, it was more of a thing for like a reset era or whatever, to be like, oh, shit, the NVIDIA leak is real. And then once you've had like 5 of those, you go like, oh, okay, well, it's just going to be the list that they leaked. So I can just assume that all or at least most of these are going to be real games that ship.
So I have multiple articles up of all the things that it has been nailing, because there were like thousands of things that people had to sift through. And there was a lot of untitled or sort of like placeholder names.
Sure.
The things that it nailed are a lot of the PlayStation PC ports.
This is kind of boring.
Gears of War E-Day, Avowed, A Fable reboot, remake. Contraband until it ended up getting canceled. Perfect Dark until it got canceled. Final Fantasy Tactics, it is now known as the Ivalice Chronicles. Kingdom Hearts 4 ended up getting confirmed. Dragon's Dogma 2, a bunch of sequels like Tekken 8, Crisis 4, Earth Defense Force 6, Mortal Kombat 12, which is now known as Mortal Kombat 1, a Metal Gear Solid collection. I mean, there were so many things. And then this week, one of the things that was like, well, this never came out is now, I guess they're doing it, is they're working on Injustice 3.
Which makes sense because, like, it's wild to me that they basically gave up on the Injustice stuff. Like, when video games were, like, or rather, like, superhero stuff was still, like, pretty popular. Like, what are we doing? Why did that just go by the wayside?
Mortal Kombat sold more and made more money, and Warner Brothers had them do it twice in a row instead of alternating. But there's also a bunch of stuff that it probably was right about that because of recent policies got changed. Yeah. So there was Demon's Souls for PS5 coming to PC. There are a couple other PlayStation games that are no longer coming that were in the works. Oh, they also nailed Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which I never thought I would live to see the day, but that actually did come out. A new Worms. There are all these things that, like, Modern Warfare 3 remastered, the new BioShock, which is, I mean, we know they're working on it.
For sure.
It hasn't come out.
There is a project somewhere called, like, the new BioShock.
Yeah,
but is that an actual video game? Question mark. Something
called The Lord of the Rings Fight for Middle-earth, which would have been the third one of those games, but that studio closed, so they ended up working on Wonder Woman.
Oh, it sucks so bad. They were such a good studio.
Yeah. There are things on here, Gran Turismo 7 for PC, even though they actually did nail Gran Turismo 7 before that came out. So, like, it's just, like, so much stuff in this that, like, Jedi Survivor. That was the first time people were like, oh, wow, they're working on a new Jedi game. But it was like, Jedi Survivor, here's the name.
Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Lost Judgment. I keep reading this. Death Stranding's director's cut for PC. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Incredible that this thing had all this, and everyone just sort of was like, not that big of a story. A fucking huge story.
Yeah, I think some of it is a little bit undermined by the fact that it's like how sequel-y everything is, and like in video games where it's like they're gonna make another Kingdom Hearts. So it's like, yeah, no fucking shit, no shit, dude. They're gonna eventually make another Kingdom Hearts. Oh wow, what a revelation!
I mean, yes, you can just look at the most popular things ever made and say there will be a sequel, but like the timing of it and the specific, like the specificity in that, like, it was around the time that Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced. Like, if that had a Luigi's Mansion 4, we would have been like, yeah, of course they're going to make a Luigi's Mansion 4, but it didn't because they still haven't announced anything and there aren't even leaks. I have no idea if that game is real. Yeah. In 10 years it will be, but like, it just seemed like it knew about the new Gears. It like knew about certain things, whereas it didn't just say new Halo. It's like, of course they're making a new Halo, but it wasn't in the leak.
Yeah,
because it seemed like it wasn't BS. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, I think people are now, like, have been for some time, been like, oh yeah, no, that was legitimate information, even if that information then goes on to be incorrect because, like, they canceled a game. It was correct. Yeah. It was correct at the time.
Exactly. What's the other one?
There is not enough discussion about the demand for accessibility, and I don't just mean physical accessibility. Like, there's like you have to have a different controller for people who have limb differences or you know, like that kind of stuff. I mean mental accessibility things, like, so there are some games, you know, who does it really well, Naughty Dog. There are things for people who have cognitive accessibility needs, where it's like you can run the game at, like, you know, 1.8 speed, 1.5 speed, or I'm sorry, reverse it. So it would be like 75% speed, or it'd be like, 50% speed. You can run it slower before people who, like, want to play games can engage with them, but process things like visual information slower. There is a substantial need for things like that, and accessibility has gotten better, but it is not where it needs to be to meet the population, which is increasingly older and increasingly more disabled.
I would say that gaming accessibility in all senses of that word has grown leaps and bounds within the last 20 years even. The Microsoft controller that they put out, the list of Sony first-party games that have all of these really cool filters, for color, and
It's
for
true.
audio.
Sony Studios have been very good about increasing the number of things that they are thinking about when they're designing their games. Now, listen, obviously you can't make 100% of games accessible to 100% of people. Nobody is asking for that. But if it's something that can be done, it's something that we should look into doing. It's something that we should strive for.
I also think of Capcom in Street Fighter 6. There's the blind mode, which is all audio based. And I've seen a blind man beat somebody at Evo because it was like the closer your character is, there's like a musical sort of like chime. So the closer I forget how it is, but it's essentially like you can sort of play that game only using audio.
That's awesome.
No, it's incredible. The issue is that as these publishers and console manufacturers make fewer games or go away or shrink or consolidate, it leaves the burden on indie games to be most of the games that come out. And not all indie devs are prepared for that. Blueprints, for instance, took a year plus for colorblind mode to come out because not everyone can actually use the colors to solve the puzzles because that's a small team. So like, I think
colorblind modes are like something that is a relatively, like, I'm not going to say an easy solve, but like is a comparatively straightforward solve. And then
for a lot of games,
yeah. So it's like,
a lot of games.
So think about like, here's one of the easier things to implement for accessibility, and it still takes a small studio this much time to get around to it because of the resources needed. Yeah.
I mean, for Blueprints in particular, like that was a much heavier lift because like that game is so the puzzles within puzzles within puzzles, and like color is a big part of it. But because there are fewer huge studios with a lot of money, a whole team dedicated to it, like we're like that part of the industry's shrinking, and GTA takes 15 years to make. So like it's just that's why it seems like there was a real big ramp up, and now it's like really kind of slowing down. That's a good one though. My other small one for the most underreported and underdiscussed but sort of significant story in the gaming history. Are you aware of Project Atlantis?
I mean, that it rings a bell, but I can't tell you what that is. I mean, like maybe I'm also just confusing it with other things named Atlantis, but what are we talking about?
So I watched a video a day or two ago about Project Atlantis, which was reported in gaming magazines. It was an official code name. It was discussed and shown at E3s. It was Nintendo's next thing to the Game Boy in the mid to late 90s. And it was 32-bit. It was bigger than the Game Boy, and it was color. It was backlit. They were working on exclusive games, and then Pokemon came out and kept the Game Boy's lifespan. It gave it a new life in that the sales of the Game Boy were even bigger than like it was when it first came out because Pokemon was so popular. So they had to like basically cancel the thing. Gunpei Yokoi left Nintendo to make the Wonder Swan, and that delayed the Game Boy Advance's like sort of like development and release, and that's why there was such a short period of time between the GBA and the DS, which was predicated by like the PlayStation Portable coming out. But like there would have been a late 90s like successor that was 32-bit and like sort of like a better Neo Geo Pocket or a better Game Gear from Nintendo, if it wasn't for Pokemon being like the biggest thing on the face of the earth.
I mean, it makes sense because the Game Boy the original Game Boy just had such an incredible run, like a run in which like there's really no other example of something that is like that dominant for that long.
Not only that, it came out, I don't know what late 80s, early 90s,
like 88 or something like that.
And then it had it to run, and then it started to like really decline in sales around like 94. Then Pokemon comes out in 96, and the graph of sales for both hardware and software went up in 96, 97, 98, and it was bigger than the original release. So it had like a bigger second life because of Pokemon than it did originally. Now, obviously, there was the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Light and like
Pocket.
But the fact that it lasted so long, and they were just like, but we have this new thing. Like the example used in the video, which I think is from Did You Know Gaming? You got to watch it. It's real. I didn't know any of this stuff, and I know everything. But like, I don't.
You didn't know gaming, apparently.
Like there were gaming magazines that had all this stuff in it, like code names. Like okay, like you know, we saw a tech demo. They're working on a Yoshi game. Like here's an image of it. Like they were working on it. It was going to come out, I didn't know any of this. And I mean, it would have been huge. It would have been like expensive. It would have eaten through batteries or whatever. So like that was the next generation. And they were like, sorry, Pokemon's selling too well. Like, we have to cancel this. Work on it later when Pokemon starts to decline. And to me, that is as if the Switch 2 was canceled because like a Pokemon came out for Switch 1. They were like, sorry guys, it's selling even better than old Switch 1 games. So we got to keep this around and push the Switch 2 to like 5 years from now.
It kind of happened though a little bit, like not quite as wildly, is because there was so much talk about like a Switch Pro, and then the fucking pandemic happened and everybody bought a fucking Switch, and they were like, okay, let's not do that. We'll wait and do a Switch 2. So that kind of happened again.
Yeah. I mean,
I have a real time fact check. Turns out April 21st, 1989 is when it came out in Japan. So
okay.
There you go.
I mean, there's also like, you know, parts for computers and like how expensive that stuff was with the pandemic. I mean, there was a lot of factors, but in this case, it was just like Pokemon was literally the most popular thing ever created, and that's why it gave not just new life, better life to the Game Boy that I don't think we'll ever see for the rest of our lives, something like that happening, and that it sold better in the late 90s than it did in the early 90s because of one game.
Yeah. Game Boy, goddamn. What a good platform. What a good game.
And it really sucks that the GBA was great too.
Yeah, the GBA, I do wish that it had a longer lifespan.
Yeah, see, the video also brought up the fact that the Project Atlantis was not backwards compatible, and
that's what killed it. That makes sense, because if it was backwards compatible, then like, who gives a shit? Put it out.
Oh, so Yamauchi was the president before Iwata, and he was like, "This thing's selling so well, and we're bringing it to America. Like, you have to have this thing be cheap, affordable, backwards compatible. Like, the next gen has to wait because we have to completely redesign it because like." It'll be too expensive. It won't be able to play Pokemon. Like, you got to kill this thing. And Gunpei Yokoi was like, fuck that. I'm out. I'll do Wonder Swan. You can play it sideways or vertical. And then he died. And then like his successor like left Nintendo after designing Project Atlanta. Like, just a fascinating thing. I've never heard of any of this stuff. I just didn't know.
Yeah. The 90s Nintendo is really weird. 80s and 90s Nintendo, weirder than even now. Modern Nintendo, weird for sure.
Oh yeah.
Older Nintendo, weirder.
They were like mob bosses. They would like bully like developers. They would implement weird rules. They'd sue everybody. They had their thumb on the scales for like manufacturing. Like, they were evil. They were nuts.
I mean, there was certainly lots of stuff happening in the 80s and 90s that Nintendo made some. Certainly, they made some enemies that I think then played out that really bit them in the ass. Like, by them, like, repeatedly fucking over people like Square Enix. It's like, okay, well, how about fuck you? How about we're going to make PlayStation games? How do you like them apples?
Grant, let's go back and forth and talk about some games we've been playing recently. You go first with Life is Strange Reunion, and then I'll go.
So I finished it. And so this is, they are at least for now, you never say never. They are at least for now pitching this game as this is the end of the Max and Chloe saga, which is like Life is Strange 1 came out. It was gangbusters, did really well. People love Max and Chloe. A prequel came out before The Storm came out, did well. It's here's Chloe kind of happening before Life is Strange 1. Then that was made by a different studio. Don't Nod did Life is Strange 2, which took place entirely different characters. It still had the basic idea of what if there were, young people that had powers, but entirely different characters, entirely different set. Like, not it's the same world, but like they're not in a different place. They're a different part of the country. They're not really interfacing with the characters from Life is Strange 1. And it was really good. They made a lot of swings that I think not 100% of them, hit, but it was a really cool thing, but it didn't resonate because like the character stuff. Like, people wanted Max and Chloe. Don't Nod then went off and did their own stuff. Like, Don't Nod doesn't do Life is Strange anymore. Instead, you have this other studio based in Colorado. They made another standalone Life is Strange game that did fine. They've gotten away from episodic stuff. 2 years ago, I think, they put out a game, a Life is Strange Double Exposure, that was a Max game. Here's Max, 10 years after the first Life is Strange. She's in Vermont now instead of the Pacific Northwest, and she has wild new powers and stuff's happening. No Chloe. There's reasons why no Chloe, but there was no Chloe. This is a direct follow-up, kind of coming not directly after, but very relatively close after Double Exposure. This is called Life is Strange Reunion, and this is Chloe's back. This is Max and Chloe, the two people you know and love, etc., etc. I think that it has all of the clunkiness of a Life is Strange game that is in some ways charming and sometimes eye-rolling. And I think that so not only is there like clunky mechanical stuff sometimes, I think there is just very clunky when you're not doing like the cool, moody, atmospheric, exploring a world part, and you're doing you have to move, you're now in the move the plot forward mode. Sometimes there is like, okay, we're just gonna dump this here. Like, oh, and then you found a thing that brings you to the next place. We're now over there in the next place. Like not extremely well thought out, like how you get from point A to point B. There's a lot of like, okay, now you're done here, move you on. That I think sometimes rubs against me in the wrong way. But I finished it finally. And I got what one might call the quote-unquote good ending.
Oh, good.
I think that it is, broadly speaking, a nice way to go out for this story. I would love, because they have very much teased, hey, there's a lot more going on in this Life is Strange universe. There's other people with powers, and you interact with them and you meet some people who have powers and stuff. But like, I would love for them to do more of that stuff. And they just felt very much like there was this burden because the fans, like the diehard fans, are like Max and Chloe, and I hope that this is like finally gave them the fan service that they need to move on from Max and Chloe and do something else. So I think that it is good. It's not the best Life is Strange, but it's still, I would still say they stick the landing pretty well. And I just hope that this enables them to move on and do other things with Life is Strange.
When are they going to add these girls to the New Mutants?
What about
the mansion?
They kind of here's the I don't want to get too spoilery. They kind of flirt with like obviously not literally like X-Men, but like they kind of flirt with the idea of like, oh man, what if these like powerful people could like got together and did stuff outside of this town?
Little New Mutants?
Yeah, like they kind of
new Avengers.
They flirt with it, and then they're like, okay, but Max and Chloe though. But we got to go back to Max and Chloe.
Should have been a Young Avengers.
Yeah. I hope that Life is Strange continues. I hope that like it allows them to just tell cool stories that are like, it is like very much like interpersonal relationships in small town places, but here's like this sci-fi element on top of it that allows you to walk around and do cool bullshit, that time manipulation or whatever it is. Some cool new power. Let them tell a bunch of cool weird stories that aren't just Max and Chloe over and over again.
Well, speaking of weird stuff going on in games, I've been playing a game that had some weird stuff. I couldn't make a transition. I'm sorry. I tried.
Speaking of video games.
Yeah, really. I've been playing Saros. Saros?
George Soros.
You have not been playing this, have you?
No. It's a roguelike.
But did you play Returnal?
Nope.
But both of these games have like stories with characters. They have
stories,
plots.
But they're roguelikes though. And that's the part that I think
they're the most light roguelikes I've ever seen. Like, they are traditional Sony single player things, narrative adventures.
And also, isn't Returnal fucked in difficulty? Like, it's really fucking hard. That's the story that people told me when Returnal came out. They're like, this is fucking hard. And I was like, no thanks.
I don't remember being that crazy hard, but I do remember deleting my fucking save, and I tried to get a refund, and PlayStation told me no, even though it was their fault.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Here's what I will say. This game is better than Returnal. To what degree, I have not determined yet. However, I enjoy this way more than Returnal.
Okay. Obviously, you are a rogueliker. Is it because it's more roguelikey?
The same, if not even less roguelikey than Returnal. Because these levels so far are not being scrambled. Like, it's not procedural generation. It's like, oh, I remember the way to go. Huh. Mm-hmm. Enemy spawns or like gun drops and the numbers on the guns, but like the levels are not being like jumbled around. Mm-hmm. But This is a game about space madness, some emergency recon astronaut soldier dudes going after some downed ships that haven't been contacted, and everyone there goes nuts because like there's a sun with an eclipse, and they're like, the sun is forever. We must paint images of the sun on every wall. It's like, wow, everyone here went crazy. I hope we don't go crazy. Everyone still goes crazy.
You got real George Costanza there for a second. Everyone went nuts.
George is getting upset.
They're nuts. They're nuts, Jerry.
George is getting frustrated. So, I mean, what's interesting is I've been playing it for like a day or two, and I'm like, I don't want to say I'm halfway through the game because there's no way that's true. But I'm through 3 bosses and 3 biomes. I think there's 6, which is just like Returnal. Maybe there's more. I'm unlocking new guns. I'm unlocking new things. It's like a little Metroidvania where I have a grappling hook. So there's like areas where you couldn't get to it. And if you go back to previous levels, which again are not randomized, you can just get up to places you weren't before and get little audio logs or get little emails. It controls great. It looks great. I really like the art style. Some of it is really gorgeous, the way they use colors and the way they use avant-garde imagery, like just like random sort of shots that will mirror each other or like, some of it's gorgeous. The facial capture rig stuff, I've noticed that like if you're just like watching 2 people have a conversation, their face will go like sort of blank. And then whenever it's their time to talk, like their face will start to animate and talk, but their body won't move. And then it'll go back to being blank. And I'm like, I can see the puppetry here. That's not great, but they look good.
If you look at a screenshot, it looks great. And then if you see it in motion, you go, this needed more work.
The animations, but like you're not really paying attention to the character animation because like you're looking at the screen and all the fucking bullet hell and the colors and like your active reload and your health and your like your charge up move. Like you're paying attention to all this other stuff and hopefully thankfully the world looks awesome and I can actually see what the hell is going on a lot better than Returnal, which is very like dark and cavey and like I think in this case it's like let's bring things outside into the sunlight. Let's not make things so dour. The bosses are really cool looking. The more I play, the more I like. There's a big skill tree. There's a difficulty thing where you can pick and choose what parts of the game you want harder or easier, and there's a sort of like scale. So you can't make things too broken or too insane. It has to be within a sort of range. But it just seems like they just cleaned up a lot of the quality of life from Returnal. You can pause, like it's just like all these like stupid things with
a video
Returnal
game
where
you can pause.
Like there's all these stupid things with Returnal. I'm like, who the fuck decides? Like this is a single player game, and this is like, okay, it's a single player game. You can save mid run. You can like, okay, I remember we're sorry.
Didn't they patched like you can stop your game at some point? Yeah. And it's like, how the fuck this is a patch? How did you release the game to be like people? Yeah. They're like, no, well, I mean, if you either have to play it or you lose your game, obviously. And it's like that's not how people play video games. It's not how people exist in the world.
From the get-go, if you beat a biome, you can skip it, so you don't have to go from scratch. I think in Returnal it was
much more approachable than Returnal. Returnal seemed like it was like, play a fucking roguelike, pal.
It is 100% more approachable. I mean, I remember with Returnal, halfway through the game, you think you beat it because you get off the space planet and you live the rest of your life where you get married, you have like a kid, and then you die of old age only to wake up having died back on the loop, or it's like none of that happened because it's like you just reset and she's like fuck, and you have to go through 3 new biomes. And I was like, oh, that's a cool like mid-game twist. I haven't gone through anything that cool yet, but there's lots of characters now. It's not just one person.
That's a legitimately very funny thing that happened. Like that's hilarious. Yeah. Like I would love to be in like the writer's room when somebody proposes that. They're like, fuck, we have to do that. That's so good.
Yeah. It's very good. But there's like a whole crew of people that you get to talk to. So there are more characters. So there's like, like more interactions and stuff. It sort of drops you in media res, where like one person who's gone like space madness, crazy for the sun god, like tries to kill you, and then they have to get put down by a pistol. And it's this whole sort of like Texas showdown, hold off of like, you don't know like what the fuck's going on. You're like, is this his 100th time or is his first time? Like, I like, it's tense. I don't know what the mood is here. I don't know how long these people have been here. And so I'm learning more about what's going on, but it's a really fun game. I think it's the split fiction. Like, I don't know if this game needed like 9s and 10s across the board. Like, it sort of gets the like review bump because it's like, oh, it's a big PlayStation first party game. I don't know if it's like that good because it is like more Returnal. But I'm liking it.
That's good.
It's a great podcast game. So yeah,
that sounds good. I've been playing. Speaking like Life is Strange, I explained that Don't Nod doesn't make Life is Strange games anymore. They went off and did their own stuff, like Tell Me Why and Lost Records, and Vampire and Banishers. Aphelion is their next one, is their most recent one to come out. It is a linear game in the sense of a walking sim type game. However, it has the trappings of like an Uncharted and like a stealth stuff. So like So here's the thing. I think so. It's not getting terrible reviews, but it's getting kind of like muted reviews. Like I think it's averaging like a 70 on OpenCritic, which is to say like, so one, it needed more time. You see the opening stuff, like there's pop in the animation stuff, like the game clearly needed more development time, period. Like end of story. That is very clearly the case. And I'm playing it on a PS5 Pro. So it's like, if it still looks like this and there's some extra horsepower going on, that like they needed to work on it. I'm sure there was just like publishing timelines that is like, well, we can't let this slip or whatever. The opening sequence is, hey, do you remember Uncharted 2's opening?
I do.
It is that. They said, what if that but a spaceship? What if instead of a train, a spaceship? Okay. And so I think that will turn off a lot of people. It doesn't seem like it's turning you off, but I do think to some extent that is going to turn off some people of being like, oh my God, you're just jumping on yellow ledges. So I think
follow the paint.
I think that there is to some degree, it doesn't make the best first impression. However, I've like read through some threads about the launch, people who have played it, and they think that it's cool and does a bunch of the things you would expect from a Don't Nod game, where you're exploring an environment and there's two people that are separate. There's two people who went out to space. It starts off with being like, it's 2062. Earth's fucked, you guys. Climate change fucked everything. So
dude, it's 2026 and Earth is fucked.
And it's like, we're out here trying to find fucking solutions. And then something bad happens, and the two people who are in this ship get separated from each other. That's the beginning of the game. No, I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. There's two people and they get separated. I think that I want to keep going, even though I'm not like in love with the intro. I have played probably 40 minutes. Even though I'm not in love with it, I think that there's enough of it. It's like $35 or something. It's not a super expensive game. Go in knowing the limitations and that, hey, maybe like here's the thing now. I don't even know if wait for a patch is even a thing you can recommend to people anymore. Cause it's like, well, if it doesn't sell this many copies, we have to cut bait, pretend it never existed, which seems to be the case for video games now, where if something does not explode when you initially release it, then like, fuck it, forget it. Fire everybody, which seems to be the case on how that goes. So I don't even know if there will be like, 2 months from now, the game will be patched to run better or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it will. But I would love for Don't Nod to continue making games. I am intrigued, if not like, bowled over by the intro, and I will check back with more Aphelion.
Grant, do you have a quiz for me?
I do. It's thankfully it's not that long. So I'm calling this.
Oh, good.
I'm calling this one Round the World. I am going to give you a country.
In how many days, though? 180?
69 420. I'm going to give you a country, and I want you to tell me what game that was primarily developed there. Now, asterisk, big developers, they have worldwide stuff, blah, 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 blah. I mean, this is the primary developers. Which country, the game that was developed in that country has sold the most, and if you can, give me a ballpark of how many games that has sold from that country. From this top-selling game sold.
You're going to give me the game.
No, I'm going to give you the country.
Are you going to give me the country? Okay, so if you say Poland, I'll say The Witcher.
Sure.
Okay.
The United Kingdom.
Wow.
I think it's going to be very obvious.
Oh, does this count Rockstar?
It does.
Okay, that's GTA 5, yeah.
Give me a ballpark of how many. And mind you, this is all asterisk. Not all video games are numbers are reported. I had to dig through some stuff to make some guesstimations. So all this comes with a grain of salt.
The series or the game?
The game, just GTA 5.
150 million.
225 million.
Okay.
Copies.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Japan. This one, I will accept 2 answers, and there's a reason, and I will explain it once you give an answer.
Is it... I'm so tempted to say a Mario, but I'm not. Pokemon Red.
It's a good guess, but the 2 answers I would accept are Wii Sports.
Oh, that's right!
Which sold 83 million because it was bundled.
Damn it.
And if we're not counting the default bundled in thing, Mario Kart 8 sold 79 million copies.
Why did I not think fucking Mario Kart 8 or Wii Sports? Why did I go to Pokemon? Because I was talking about Pokemon.
I mean, Pokemon's very successful. The thing is that it spreads out across multiple things is the problem.
Yeah, because Scarlet and Violet did really well. I know Super Mario, the original Mario Brothers did really well.
Yeah.
Fuck, Mario Kart 8. Of course, that's on the sales chart every month. God damn it. Grant, edit this out. Cut this part.
They crushed it. Good job, Nintendo. Korea.
That was the easiest one. I can't believe I didn't get that.
Korea. South Korea, but Korea.
Is it an MMO?
No.
It's not an MMO. That's all they make.
Well, but here's the thing. These are units sold. So free-to-play games don't count.
Oh, wow. South Korea.
You're probably not going to get it. But you'll be oh, God damn it. But it is a South Korean game.
It's not Genshin Impact because that's free-to-play.
That's Chinese also.
Oh, I thought it was South Korean.
No, I'm fairly certain that it's Chinese.
I know they play StarCraft, but they don't make StarCraft. No, I'm coming up blank.
PUBG.
What?
PUBG is player unknown who is not Korean.
He's Irish or something.
He's not, but the studio to make it into a game and to make it into a game you sell instead of just unmod is South Korean. From the get-go. It's not like it eventually became a South Korean. From the get-go, PUBG, the game that you can buy with money, was made in South Korea.
Can I just say this? When that game first came out, it hit consoles, and I was playing it a lot. And then I didn't take a break. I just stopped playing it. Mm-hmm. And then years went by, and I re-downloaded it going, I wonder how much progress they've made and how it looks and how it controls and how it feels and the physics and all. And I played it. It was the exact fucking same game. They made zero progress.
Yeah. 75 million. Jesus Christ. That's so many copies. Jared,
I can't believe I missed Mario Kart 8. God
what about Poland?
The Witcher 3
is correct. 60 million copies. I would have wondered if you were going to think maybe Cyberpunk outdid it.
No. Witcher 3 is gigantic.
Cyberpunk sold a fucking lot. Isn't
there supposed to be a fucking new expansion for that game this month?
The Witcher 3? Yeah, I mean, there certainly has been talk about it, but who knows? Who knows? China.
Went. Okay, free-to-play does not count. Mobile does not count.
Yep. I mean, if it was a game you sold for money on mobile, it would count. But most of those games are going to be free-to-play.
Black Myth Wukong.
Yep. You nailed it.
Okay.
28 million, which is a lot of copies. A fucking lot of copies.
Yeah, I played that game. It's good.
The United States of America. I will accept 2 answers.
The United States of America. Oh, man. Whichever Call of Duty sold the best.
No, because here's the thing. The Call of Duties get dispersed too much. There's too many of them. So,
Okay. Then I'm going to assume that also happens with Madden and
yes,
NFL.
Like 100%. The yearly titles, it's too dispersed. There isn't like one that sells a fuckload.
Yeah, NBA and FIFA. Hogwarts Legacy sold a lot, but like in the 20s, like to me, does not seem like enough.
The one answer has 82 mil. The other answer has 64 mil.
Listen, if I'm not going to get Mario Kart 8, which is the easiest one, I'm still upset at myself about that.
The one that has 84 that I would accept is, I think, is complicated because you could say the primary development was in the US, but it's a little bit they no longer break it down into just like US studio versus like the British studio. Red Dead Redemption 2 is primarily from the US.
Oh, see, I would have said that was still Rockstar North.
No, it's not a Rockstar North game.
Wow, okay.
In fact, Rockstar RDR1 was a San Diego game.
Yeah.
So the thing about it, and the reason why I'm giving you two options is because it's like with that game, it's kind of a global game. You could make an argument that it doesn't count, blah, 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 blah. The other one is a high selling indie because it's like it is riding
Rocket League.
Yeah. It's Terraria. 64 million, Jared.
Yeah, we always forget that game also shows up a lot on the NPD charts every month, along with fucking Mario Kart 8. Yeah, I would have guessed Rocket League, but okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or Stardew, you know.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense, though. Yeah. Oh, what about Minecraft? Or is that Ireland?
Well, because here I didn't put Minecraft would be sweet. Let me double check Mojang.
He's Swedish.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a Sweden. I didn't put that because I thought it would be too obvious. I didn't put Sweden because I was like, he's gonna guess Mojang, because I don't think that there is a second Swedish studio that is going to be like, sold a bajillion copies. But no, that's Sweden.
Give me Spain.
Two more. Belgium.
No, give me Spain.
No.
Because it's going to be blasphemous.
Belgium.
I don't think
the
fuck is out in there. And Belgium.
20 million copies in the 2020s.
Is this going to be like a weird Hogwarts Legacy was primarily developed in Belgium?
Nope. This is very obvious. Like, this is very like uniquely Belgium. They're like Belgian. They're not. This is not secretly Belgian.
Is this Forza?
Nope.
No, they're British.
They're British. It's a role-playing game.
Oh, is this Baldur's Gate 3?
Yep, BG3. Yep.
Oh.
They're Belgian.
Why did I think they were like also like not Poland, but like some other country like that?
Nope. Belgium, baby. The last one, Canada. And this is the one that like there wasn't a clear answer on this, so I did have to dig. And so this is my best guess based on the data available for Canada.
Oh man. I don't think I'm ever going to get this.
What's the bet? There is one series from Canada that is fucking AAA. Just sells big, not necessarily always yearly, but close to yearly. It's a big fuck off.
Isn't there a Vancouver studio for Rockstar?
Maybe, but this is not a Rockstar game.
What studios are in Canada? Oh, Ubisoft.
Uh-huh.
So it would have to be whatever Assassin's Creed game sold the best.
Yep. It is almost certainly an Assassin's Creed game. And based on what they have kind of said in like the shareholder like press releases.
Is it Odyssey?
I think it's Black Flag.
Oh yeah, of course it's Black Flag, because that was on every console.
So Black Flag
was literally on every
15
console.
million copies. So asterisk, it's possible this is not the perfect answer, but based on what I could find, Black Flag seems to be a good candidate for Canada's best-selling game.
Because it was 360, a PS3, PS4,
yep.
A DS, your sister's ass, the Pony Express. Yeah, I was on everything.
Yep, Black Flag, and it was really well liked.
Fucking Mario Kart 8. God damn.
That's the brutal one. I think broadly, like, these are, you did like fine answers. Like, they're not I
gave you Spain.
Yeah, but I didn't look up Spain.
Also, is
these.
Is Mexico Guacamelee?
I don't know.
Also, wait, where Ori and the Blind Forest? I'm googling this. Who made that game? That is made by Moon Studios. Moon Studios, Vienna, Austria. All right, so they're like random European countries that will like make like big indies.
Sure. But I think that's it. That is the end of Round the World.
Moon Studios, do you know why they named it Moon Studios?
Because they love the moon.
Because they loved and were inspired by the JFK quote, "We choose to go to the moon."
Oh, not Moon the game?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's an insane thing. That is an insane thing to name your company, especially if you're not even American. But okay.
What about Reach for the Moon Engine?
Moon in the Trap. If you like more of us, you can head over to our Patreon, which you can find at videogame.town/donate. That also has our Ko-fi if you just like to tip us a couple bucks. And it also gives you links to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. If you could leave a 5-star rating, we would appreciate it. We're also on all the lovely social medias that are worth being on. Your Blue Skies, your Twitches and YouTubes, your Instagrams, your TikToks, etc., etc.
Yeah, check out our exclusive Patreon stuff. Tell your friends.
We're doing
go out there and spread the word.
But that's it. Videogame.town.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.